and I'm feeling like a boss right now. I'm gonna hold it down, I swear. I roll up and I'm smelling like a right now. I do this for my rounds, yeah. Real life, dripping on sauce in a good life. You shine, I shine, and ain't nobody gonna take mine. I just wanna be a boss. I will never ever fall. Chillin' like a boss with my feet up. Got a bad for
Hey everybody, it's the coach, and this is Madden 19 on EA Sports. We are moments away from what should be an excellent matchup between the Minnesota Vikings and the Green Bay Packers. I'll be back with you again with scores around the league at halftime, but kickoff right around the corner. And standing by to call the action, here are Brandon Godden and Charles Davis.
This place first opened way back in 1957. We are inside legendary Lambeau Field here in Green Bay. Nothing like the fanfare of introductions to an NFL game, and that was in evidence a moment ago. Fireworks, pyrotechnics, you name it. This crowd is ready as their guys get set to match up between the Minnesota Vikings and the Green Bay Packers. Along with Charles Davis, I'm Brandon Godden. And look at this. Right away, a loose football. And his guys are going to get the football at the 28-yard line.
As that ball got away from him, and he saw the opposing team recover it.
You felt his pain?
Oh, I felt his pain, and you know what was going through his head. Tuck it away. Take care of the ball. All the things he hears all week in practice, he didn't carry it over into the game.
A first carry for Leonard Fournette. And taking it to the 15-yard line before he's brought down. North of 100 yards, the two scores. And, you know, you got to give a lot of credit to the O-line. We talked a lot about him, but offensive line was good, too.
They're obviously in sync with each other, whether it's zone blocking, power running game, no matter what. He understands how to read them and find the creases that they provide.
Back to throw now on first down. Being chased, and he can't find anywhere to go with it, and he goes down.
Hindsight is 20/20, partner. Maybe they should have kept it on the ground again.
Well, it almost looked like the O-line was run blocking again. I mean, they opened up a big hole last time. This time they opened up a hole, and the quarterback got sacked. From the shotgun, he'll look to throw. And he's going to go down again.
2 sacks last week, another one right here. He's been unblockable lately, and I think that goes all the way back to not just his offseason, but the film study he's been doing during the week, because I think he's found matchups that he likes, and he's capitalizing.
And a few times he's even defeated double teams. He doesn't care at this point. Now on third and long, they'll look to throw. That's going to be caught. And he will get this into the end zone. Touchdown, Green Bay. Gerald Everett, his third touchdown now on the year. And the Packers have taken the early lead. Extra point up and through by Myers. And that makes the score 7-0. The kickoff team on the field now as they will send this one away. This one fielded at the 5. And he'll take this one near the 25, call it the 26-yard line. The first carry now for Dalvin Cook. And he'll fight forward to about the 27-yard line. Just a yard on the pickup there, and it'll bring up a 2nd and 9.
Nice job by the defensive front there to hold him to a short gain on first down. Well played, I must say.
Yeah, only getting 1 yard. There was no room to run.
Let's go! Green, 39! Green!
On second down, Cook. And nothing doing. He's immediately taken down at the line of scrimmage. No gain on the play there, so that doesn't help. Now they're looking up at a 3rd and 9 situation.
Doubling this guy has to be a priority before moving up to the next level because the big fella, he just ate that one alive, just stuffed it. In fact, before the game, he was talking to us, and he's like, hey, these pants make me look fat. And we said, nah, man, you're just a whole lot of guy.
He is at well over 300 pounds. He's a big man. And they work this well upfield across the 45. A good pick up there of 20 yards.
They've got good playmakers on the offensive side of the ball. I don't know what happened last week to really hurt their performance and hold down their production, but I would dare say that this week in practice, there's a lot of talk about how they're going to increase their proficiency.
And that was a good start getting the playmakers involved. You mentioned that to me pregame. That's what they did there.
Yeah, I think a lot of people think the coaching staff really gets on them, and that's how they motivate them. Most of these guys are self-motivated. They have a lot of pride in their performance.
An incomplete pass on first down. That leads to a 2nd and 10.
Now let's go. 3-19. 3-19.
They'll run it now out of the gun. And they'll get him down as he's inside the 40. They give him 14 yards that time and a fresh set of downs. Now, look, that wasn't a huge gain, but those are the types of carries I think they were missing in their loss last week. They couldn't get him going on the ground.
Did you get the same feeling I did during our meetings, that they kind of regretted that he didn't touch the ball?
Absolutely.
You know, hey, he should have touched it more last week. They weren't going to make that same mistake, and they've taken care of that early.
Got his man. It's Eifert. Takes this to the 32, maybe the 31, and then the defense rallying quickly after that broken tackle.
Now that's staying ahead of the chains. Really good pickup on first down.
Here we go now.
On second down, Rosen caught Eifert over the middle. And he's able to get it down to the 25-yard line. That one good for 7 as this long drive continues and the chains move again.
I don't believe that this opening drive is surprising to either one of us after the time we spent with the coaching staff and players prior to the game. What about you?
Absolutely. Not only that, but that big article in the paper this morning about their philosophy on stop. He's going to go down here, a sack. They push him back to the 34. Man, he got in there so quickly, Charles. What could the offense have done to adjust and account for that?
But what you're hoping is that you figure out and you see and get a clue that maybe there's going to be some pressure coming at you, and you change the blocking schemes. Maybe you go to max protection. The biggest one is maybe bring your...
And the pressure too great, and he goes down once more. Charles, a little bit of feast or famine on this drive. They moved the ball okay, but they've been sacked twice now.
And they've got to figure out how to plug that leak a little bit, right? Keep them away from the quarterback because when he's not being hit, as you mentioned, they're moving the ball well.
And now it's Rosen looking. And he's got daylight. It's a foot race. And into the end zone. It's a pick six and a Packer touchdown. And remember, this is the #1 defense in the National Football League. There's a good example of why.
Shows that they set an aggressive tone, not just stopping the run, not just getting after the quarterback, but the ball's in the air. They treat it like they're the receivers, and they went after that one and took it all the way.
Myers connects on the PAT, and that'll make the score 14-0. So they'll get another shot on offense following that pick six, and now the kick is away. This one fielded at the 5. And it's a pretty good return here as he'll get it up to the 29-yard line. And now out comes Minnesota. Already down 2 touchdowns here in the first half. This becomes a pretty important drive, doesn't it?
It certainly does, and a lot of the teams script plays. We know that, right? They have a script to start the ball game, and typically those scripts go between 12 and 24, 25 plays. Down 2 touchdowns early, probably not very deep into their script. I think that they'll stay with it. I don't think they'll abandon it just yet and try and generate some offense on this drive.
Anything, at least 3 points, get that 0 off the board. They'll run it now out of the gun. And he'll scratch out only about a yard up to the 32.
He's definitely tough to get down. We just saw it right there. But how about what we did see? Pursuit, wrap up, and then the big finish with the tackle.
Now let's go. Green 39.
Now some movement before the snap. And we'll hear from our referee for the first time this afternoon.
Offense.
So that'll back him up 5.
Still third down.
So the false start certainly doesn't help matters as they'll try again now. 3rd and long.
Set. Blue landed.
From the shotgun, it's Rosen. And this is going to be incomplete. And this passing game's whole offense really didn't show up in the loss last week, and it hasn't started all that great here either.
Yeah, they can't let that incompletion become an uh-oh moment. Like, oh boy, here we go again, just like last week. Each game is its own entity, treated as such.
Spins away. 34 yards on the return. But for a moment, looked like he had a shot to go all the way. And it'll be Packer football here. 1st down and 10. The Packer offense now ready to get back onto the field. And they're hoping to redo their efforts in the last drive when they got into the end zone.
And just think of what it's like now on the sideline. Because when you score a touchdown, you have to go over and look at the tablet and see what you did on the last drive. When you scored points, it's a whole lot better view than when you're trying to figure out how to fix things there.
Holding. Offense.
So a decent gain.
Still first down.
For not on the penalty.
It's too bad, isn't it? They were feeling pretty good about it. The only people celebrating, the guys who just gave up that play.
They're backed up here with a 1st and 20 now after the holding penalty. Looking to throw. He rifles one that's intercepted. Picked off at the 38. And his guys are going to take over at the 39-yard line. They told us repeatedly earlier in the week in our meetings, we need some plays from our defense here on the road early. They got one.
And don't think they were above all week long pointing out to their defense that the other defense is rated higher than them. You going to let that happen, guys? Is that how we're going to play? And they responded to the challenge.
And he stopped immediately there. Call it no gain on the play, and it'll be 2nd down.
No gain on that run, and while the team is down, there's still time to come back and win the football game. If I'm the offensive coordinator, though, I got to think about moving at a faster pace and maybe opening things up a little bit, throwing it a little bit more.
They'll run it now at the gun. He only got a couple on that one, so not a ton of help. They'll have a 3rd and 8 forthcoming.
Well, they had that one sniffed out. Excellent run blitz. Stop that one for a short gain.
What makes a good run blitz a good run blitz?
The ability to stay on task, to follow up your assignment, go to the gap you're supposed to cover, and not be deterred by anything else.
Finding a safety valve here. That's complete. And they'll be inside the 35 now at the 34-yard line. Give him 3 on the play, and it'll be 4th down. Instead of throwing it downfield, Charles, they just tried to dump it underneath there. Do you like the call?
I do. I think it's...
Back now with Charles Davis. I'm Brandon Gaudin. 2nd quarter begins with the Vikings holding the football. They are, however, facing a 4th down situation. And Catanzaro's kick is right through. And they will get themselves on the board here at 14-3. They got the interception, but very little movement after, and that forces him to settle for 3. And it does feel like settling when that happens, doesn't it?
It certainly does, but we got to give a lot of credit where it's due, and that's to the defense because they ran onto the field. It's what we call sudden change, right? Interception, you got to go put out the fire, and they did, holding them to a field goal.
Now out comes their leader and the captain of this offense back onto the field. And he comes out on the heels of an interception he threw last time they had the ball.
Yeah, and you know, the quarterbacks that I know that are the best ones, the ones that really know how to lead their team, they tell them, that's on me. That's my bad. But let's go back out there and move ahead again, guys. We can get this done.
One good thing for him, it did only lead to 3 points and not a touchdown after that turnover.
Big thanks to the defense.
On 2nd down, here's Fournette. And he'll get up to the 43-yard line. Call it a gain of 7, and it gets him a new set of downs.
Boy, he does it at a high level, doesn't he? Because when I watch him, I think of his vision. Straight ahead, peripheral, Also has that sense of where holes are going to be before they actually open. I think that helps set him apart from many of the other backs in the league.
He'll look to throw. Man open, that's Marquez Valdez-Scantling. And they'll work this down to the 40-yard line, tackled there. 17 yards on the pickup there, and the drive will continue.
One of the selling points of the in route is it gives the quarterback a really nice sight line to his receiver and almost on a direct shot able to quarterback to the middle of the field and have a great chance of success as they did on that play.
And they're able to get this one past the 30 down to the 25. 15 more there, and they're on a roll. It's another first down.
They're making it look easy out there. Another first down. So far on this drive, let me do this little bit of math here. 4 plays, 3 first downs.
That's a pretty good recipe for success. And able to get him down, but he does reach the 5. Another big gainer that time. This one goes for 19 yards.
I think it all came together there. In-breaking route, drove it with excellent pace. Money throw right there to move the sticks.
They'll try and run forward with Fournette. It's a loss of a yard there, and now second down.
Anthony Barr got a real education at UCLA and playing not just his normal position of stand-up outside linebacker, but down defensive end. So he had to incorporate a variety of moves, take on bigger people. So he learned great leverage while he was there. That really helps him when he's trying to stop people running the ball.
Born in South Bend, Indiana. Thought about going back to go to Notre Dame, but you're right. In trouble, and he'll go down back at the 12.
Are you seeing what I'm seeing? That's 3 sacks now, and this team came into the game in the bottom 5 in the league in sacks.
Yeah,
What's going on?
It's not been their bread and butter. I don't know. Is a blind squirrel finding a nut, or is this something they can build on?
Well, they found some momentum. They found a crack in that offensive line, and they're putting it to good use.
Detroit! Detroit! Gone! 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 Gone!
They'll set up a throw, and that is incomplete. The former Pro Bowl linebacker Anthony Barr there to jar it free.
Didn't have a receiver open downfield, and as it turned out, couldn't even find his outlet man because of the coverage. It was way too tight, unable to find anyone open.
They had it first and goal, 3 attempts, couldn't get it in, so they settle for 3.
Yeah, the field tends to shrink a little bit the closer you get to the goal line, doesn't it? It doesn't sound right. It sounds a little counterintuitive. But you run out of space to run the deep routes, so they can just sit on the shorter stuff if you're going to throw it. If you want to run it, there's just not as much space. They end up having to take 3 there.
And you see Dalvin Cook in the offense heading back out. He's been good. They've utilized him well, but they're losing here in the second quarter. What might they change offensively?
I think that what you try and do is expand how you get the ball to him a little bit. Get him out in open space, maybe swing the ball to him. What's that they used to call it in the West Coast offense, the long handoff? Yeah. Serve as your running play that way, as well as continue to feed him the football. Some of these runs now may pop bigger later in the game because of the effects of running it. Sometimes people, after a while, they don't want to tackle him anymore, or they get tired, or they get out of position, or he runs through tackles. Continue to feed him the ball. He's having that kind of game.
Yeah, might they get him the ball in some space in some different ways here. Quick slant there, gets him the first down, 6 yards on the play.
This has to go down as one of the simpler routes in the playbook, but oh so effective. Nice completion there. Keeps the sticks moving.
All right, here we go. Green 39! Green 39!
First down, here's the run with Cook. And he'll lose yardage on the play back at the 37-yard line. The loss of a full 3 yards, and now it's second down.
We just saw another example of how the defense is winning this game. Really at the point of attack, the offensive line is just getting pushed around. I think now as a play caller, you've got to give them a little bit of help. Maybe you keep your tight ends a little bit more. Maybe the running backs help you a little bit with the pass blocking. But you've got to help them get some confidence because you can't abandon the play calling right now.
The left side caught by Diggs. And to the 42-yard line here and brought down there. That catch good for 5. It's third down.
When you decide to run a hitch route, it really helps to have a guy who can turn it loose. And, boy, he rifled one in there on that one. Not much run after catch, but it works really well.
On third down, Rosen. Oh, it's a screen pass. It's complete. And he'll get up to the 43-yard line. Well contained there defensively. The screen gets only a yard, and it's fourth. Here now, Johnny Townsend, as he'll kick it away for the second time. 2 minutes to go here in the first half. And we'll remind you that coming up at halftime, we'll join Jonathan Coachman and the gang in Orlando. Coach will have stats and scores from the early games going on here around the NFL. So a change of possession here on the punt. And Green Bay getting ready to go as they take the field. And last time they got 3 points, but it was a chip shot field goal. And when you go to the sideline after a chip shot field goal, maybe the offense not too happy.
It's a balancing act, isn't it? Because you're exactly right. They're none too pleased that they didn't punch it in for 6 points. But they also have to remember they did put points on the board.
3 points is 3 points.
And in this league, you take points when you can get them. Not easily done.
From the 34, they'll come to the line on 2nd and 10. Now he'll look to throw here on 2nd and 10. And that one got tipped. Kind of threw everything off. It brings up 3rd.
Feels like they're getting caught in between here because they didn't completions on 1st and 2nd down. Now you got to worry a little bit about the clock because you prefer not to give them another shot here in the first half. But if you don't pick up the first down, guess what? You're likely going to have to.
And this time he's got the hook up. It's complete. And getting this just shy of midfield, they'll spot it at the 49. It's a pickup of 15 and a fresh set of downs. He'll drop to throw. And this is caught. A spectacular one-handed grab there. Give him 30 yards there.
That was a terrific catch. I mean, to go up there and get it one-handed like that, but I almost want to go into that riff about back in my day, the gloves weren't quite like this.
When did gloves really become prevalent, just in general?
I think in the 80s. I think as we started to move through the 80s, especially as we got towards the latter part of that. But a lot of those were really like baseball batting gloves to begin with not much of a tacky area on the glove. In fact, there was none. I actually remember in cold weather games wearing the old scuba gloves, which you'd wear in diving, but they would split too easily in the course of a game. Then the glove manufacturers got smart and started adding to it, and here we are today.
Now, meanwhile, here's a 2nd down throw that's knocked away and incomplete.
When you see passes knocked down by those guys I call the frustrated fullbacks, the linebackers, you know that in their zone coverage, they were able to drop, see the ball thrown, and react to it very quickly.
The Packers on 3rd down. They've been okay, 2 for 3 thus far. This is 3rd and 11. Back to throw. Hard throw. Incomplete.
Well, he'd been targeted quite a bit on this drive, and finally I think the guys on the defensive side, they said no more. They slapped the double coverage on him, made it very tough for him to get the ball.
And Myers able to knock it through, and that'll push the lead up to 17. No problems in the field goal department so far. He's 2 for 2.
Pretty reliable here in this game, isn't he? And to me, that bodes well for them. If they need him late in the game, his confidence should be sky high.
And they will not, as it's through the end zone for a touchback. Josh Rosen and company getting set for their next possession. He's got to dig deep here, doesn't he? Team's losing. He's not playing well either.
And they always tell you, don't press. You'll make things a little bit worse. But in this particular situation, you try and heighten your play a little bit. So far, he's thrown 1 interception. He wants to balance that off with at least 1 touchdown pass in order to get his team back moving forward.
Now, meanwhile, a pass that should have been intercepted, but it winds up falling incomplete.
Here we go.
2nd and 10. It's Rosen again. And this is going to be caught. He won the fight for the football. And now we won't see a play on 1st down. We're going to get a timeout instead, as they'll stop it with just over 40 seconds to go in the first half. They'll look to throw on 1st down with Josh Rosen. Room here to run. And they will score. It's a Packer touchdown.
Partner, what we just saw, that's a great example of a team that was really amped up. They've been playing so well, yet they didn't get overexcited and have a bust on defense and gave up a big play. Instead, they created their own big play with a pick six. This one may be over.
Yeah, it's just the first half, but that lead has swelled to the point where you're wondering if it is over already. And this will be a touchback as that sails over the end line. And now out comes Minnesota. And what do you think goes on here in this situation? If you got the football, you're trailing, you're back in your own territory with just a little time. Do you try something?
You're thinking about jump-starting your team, right? You just mentioned they're down. They're trying to get back into the game. But you got to figure, if something goes wrong, you may have put yourself in a spot where you may not be able to come back in the second half. Managing risk, this is a big decision here.
Seems like this defense, especially the secondary, has really been contesting about every throw in this first half.
Remind me of a good half-court defensive basketball team. Every time a pass is thrown, they're right there in good defensive position, able to affect the play.
And he will lose yardage here back at the 23-yard line. He lost 2 there, and it's third down. Third down, Dalvin Cook. And this one goes nowhere. Losing yardage back at the 22. Well, that came a little abruptly here. Still working on my apple up in the booth. Hang on here. Let me spit this out. And we can get to the third quarter now. And this will not be returnable. It's out of the back of the end zone. The Packers offense now, they get ready to head back onto the field. They built a good first half lead. Now they have a chance to add on to it.
And what I'm thinking is that the offensive staff spent the entire halftime just working with them on, here's what we think they're going to do to attack us in the second half. Nice first half that we've had, guys, but be prepared for some change-ups. We're going to see them when we kick it off in the second half.
See how they handle any adjustments that might be made defensively. Back to throw now on 2nd and 10. And he overshot him there. It's out of bounds, incomplete. Gerald Everett is tight end, the intended receiver. And that'll make it third down. What a difference a week makes. Last week he hit on over 80% of his passes. This week he's down under 50%. What do you see as the difference?
Well, I think we're used to seeing a drop. If someone's over 80%, they're not going to hold that number. Not in this league. But a drop under 50%, that just tells me that the defense, they spent a lot of extra time on game films and came up with a really good plan to try and chip away at his timing.
First target, first catch, and a first down.
And another thing that makes the comeback route really effective is that oftentimes after you've made the initial move, receivers breaking away from the defensive back, and that makes it a really tough play to defend. A nice chunk of yardage picked up there.
Looking to complete it to Pettis, and he's got him. 16 yards there, 2 straight plays of 16 yards, and another first down.
Well, if you do read man coverage, Brandon, the drag route's a pretty good one to run against it because you're running away from people on it.
A couple of first downs, has the football positioned at the 43 as they come up 1st and 10. They're going to look to throw. And incomplete as he was knocked as he threw it. And it took the ball off course. Throwing the football, he's not as sharp as he was last week when he was over 70%. Right now, he's under 50%.
Well, that comes from extra game film, extra time. You know those guys watched him all week, saw how precise he was, and constructed a defense to try and chip away at that. And thus far, they've been successful.
The second down attempt there knocked down as it leaves the quarterback's hand, and it's incomplete.
Now, the secondary's really struggled today, but that's a little bit of a measure of revenge, isn't it? And they just followed the basic rules. See ball, knock ball away. Turned into a nice play.
Now they face a 3rd and 10 after back-to-back incompletions. They'll look to throw. And incomplete here on 3rd down. You can tell they were hoping for a flag there offensively. Several on the sideline motioning, hey, why not a penalty? Why not a penalty? What did you see?
Yeah, I think you've got to let them play, and the officials are instructed. If there's contact coming from both sides, no flag. Let them fight it out.
And forces 4th down. And a little too much mustard on that one. It hits a couple yards into the end zone. A missed opportunity there maybe to pin them back. It's the Vikings' turn on offense. We get ready for their first possession of the second half. They were able to get the stop defensively. Now a chance really to set the tone here in quarter 3.
They can really take charge, can't they? And this is probably how it was drawn up at the half. I think we can go inside the locker room, all right? And I think we would see up on the grease boards, stop them defensively, get the ball back for the offense, and let's go downfield and score. Seems simple, right? The last part, we have to find out that's going to happen. But the first part worked to perfection. Did exactly what they wanted, and now their offense has to pay it off.
See if they can get the ladder fifth. And a big loss here as he's taken down.
Brandon, if I'm an offensive coordinator and I see an all-out rush like that, I file it away because I'm going to use their aggressiveness against them as this game goes on. I'm going to hit them with a screen soon.
Set. Green 39. Green 39. Hot.
From the gun on third down, it's Rosen. Oh, had his hands on it, couldn't bring it in. Pretty symptomatic of how this game's been going.
We're into the second half now. This is an offense that continues to struggle to sustain a drive.
Looks like they're just totally out of sync, whether they're running the ball, passing the ball like we saw there. I don't know. The rhythm seems off. Here comes the field general leading his offense back out there for the next possession. So, Charles, there are the numbers. What's happened here? Defensive adjustments that's caused him to sort of fall off a bit?
I think so. That has to happen. You've got to make some changes because in the first half, they were pretty effective. But the second part is sometimes when you're doing really well, you get off your game a little bit. You get off the gas a little. You're like, okay, we've got this thing. And that's not necessarily the case. Maybe right now, someone just needs to tell a joke in the huddle, loosen things up, and get their big guy going again.
Detroit! Detroit!
They'll set up to throw. Over the middle, complete. It's Swanson. And they're able to get this one across the 35. And the quick slant gets exactly 10. And by the nose of the football, they've got a first down.
You can see the time and effort and thought that they put into their passing game because it was evident right there. It looks like a simple pitch and catch, but you and I both know that they have planned for this and worked hard to make it happen.
And he'll work it across midfield inside the 45. Another big gainer that time. This one goes for 19 yards.
Good throw, good catch, but I really like the route. The drag and being able to run away from defenders, hard to stick with them for that long.
Yeah, better against man than zone, or
better against man because now you're running away from someone and you're not running into a defensive player in another zone.
He's going to float this one deep right side. And this is caught. Touchdown, Packers. Dante Pettis, his 4th touchdown on the year. And the Packers are pouring it on.
When we drop defenses on the board, we do account for every receiver. But on that particular play, somehow he was wide open, became an easy touchdown pass.
Extra point up and through by Myers. And that will extend this big lead. This fielded at the 2. And not a bad return here. He gets it out to the 25-yard line. And now out comes Minnesota. These guys had to punt last time. It has not been a very fruitful game offensively thus far. They haven't even made a trip to the red zone.
And I know that everyone's going crazy on that sideline because that drives you berserk to come off the field, not really move the ball well.
Packer pressure, and down he goes. Jordan Willis in there to get him, and that's sack number 12 for him on the year.
The amount of sacks that they've absorbed in this game is absolutely extraordinary. Let's just face it. This offensive line, flat out, cannot handle this pass rush. It's been demonstrated time and time again.
And an alley to run. And they're able to get this one across the 35. And a nice carry there of 15 yards.
Sometimes it's hard to believe, but there are times this game is about patience, isn't it? Has had the game he expected, but that run there, that may get him going.
I was just going to say, maybe that gives him a little juice, because you're right, he struggled, especially in that first half.
Yeah, and I know the great ones always think to themselves, just hang in there. I'm just one big carry away from busting this open. That's a good start for him.
23 yards on the play.
It's a game of matchups, and that's why you take your receivers and move them around a bunch, especially your best guys. And when they work out of the slot, You often hear the coaches talk about how great it is because it gives you a two-way go. You can break out or you can break in. That makes it hard to defend.
Going deep, and this is going to be intercepted. Picked up by Josh Jones.
And Brandon, this is a real nice job defensively of getting inside a quarterback's head and figuring out, okay, where's he going with the football? Because you can make an educated guess defensively. Not all the time, but sometimes. And when you're right, you got a decent chance of coming away with the football.
They'll run it now out of the gun. And he'll work his way across the 30 to the 32. A good run there on first down, and it'll leave him with a 2nd and 2.
First play of the drive, let's give credit all around. Excellent blocking, but the guy carrying the ball, he was the finisher. A really nice run.
They'll run it now out of the gun. Just 4 yards on the pickup, but that's good enough to extend the drive.
Third quarter and you've got the lead. You're not ready to go into that 4-minute offense to close the game out, but a running game can really benefit your team right now.
So from the 36 now, 1st and 10. They'll look to throw here on first down. Now they set up the screen. That's complete. And he'll lose yardage. Brought down at the 32. It's a loss of 4 there, bringing up 2nd down. Got to give some credit there defensively. They snuffed out that screen early on first down.
Really read it well, didn't they? Because they didn't bring the pressure that they expected. They covered all the passing lanes. So once you see it break down as the passer, I think in this situation, you're throwing it at the feet of your back.
And a big loss here as he's taken down. Daniil Hunter. He's the one that finally runs him down, and that is a big, big loss. 18 yards. And on that one, the protection just broke down.
You've got to have that leverage, don't you? We always talk about low man wins in the running game for an offensive lineman versus a defensive lineman. It's essentially the same thing in pass protection. Get lower than that defensive lineman so that you can keep your balance and keep him away from your guy trying to throw the football.
Now a shot taken on 3rd down, but it's going to wind up incomplete. And the trick play doesn't work. Good reaction there defensively, and it'll be 4th down. Diggs with a good footwork. It's a 4-yard return following a punt of 49. And the Vikings will take over here 1st and 10. Good starting field position for them here as they come up 1st and 10.
Now let's go. Green 39. Green 39.
Trying to fire up that running game with Dalvin Cook. And forget about finding a lane. He barely had time to look up before he was planted in the backfield.
That defensive front four has been very good. They have just not let the running game get going, have they?
Not at all. In fact, the entire offense just looking a little bit out of sync in this one.
Yeah, sometimes this is why coaches like 4-down defensive linemen, they feel like they can cover more ground when defending the run.
And this is a blowout so far as we get set for the 4th quarter. A very one-sided affair.
Now let's go.
Now Rosen to throw on 2nd down. And the Packers give him nowhere to go, and they bring him down. Malik McDowell in there to get him. Sack number 14 for him on the year.
We've been around this league for a while, and many coaches never pull their starting quarterback, almost no matter the situation. In this case, though, I think he's got to make a decision. He's taking a pretty good beating out there.
Yeah, and with the deficit, maybe not wanting to risk an injury.
Now let's go. Green 39.
On 3rd down, it's Cook. He spins free. Oh, and now he bowls him over. And now running right through it. 7 yards on the carry there, but now they're staring at 4th down.
And after that type of a run, there's some talking going on down on the field, but it's not trash talking. The guy who just carried the ball, he's going back and telling his offensive line, great job, keep it up, and we'll break that one soon.
They'll get 9 yards on the return there following a punt of 42. And out will come the offense as they take over. The Green Bay offense now about ready to take possession here. And, Charles, we are in the midst of a very one-sided affair. I think this is where you and I have to fill a little bit. You want to regale us with old stories of your childhood in New Paltz, New York?
I don't think anyone wants to hear that, but this is a perfect time for us to start listing MVP candidates, right? The best teams we've seen so far this year, the best games that we've called thus far, how we anticipate the season unfolding. We can go in so many different directions because the game certainly not taking us there.
Oh, I hear the remotes clicking off right now. They'll look to throw now on first down. And his throw's going to be incomplete.
Even without a ton of pressure in his face, it just shows how difficult it is to pick apart his own defense. Those guys are sitting back, and they're not playing receivers as much as they're playing the eyes of the quarterback and when he delivers the ball.
They'll run it now out of the gun. And they get him down right near the midfield stripe. 9 yards on the pickup there as they'll be left with 3rd and 1.
Bottom line, they want to keep this clock rolling, so they'll take that one right there. They just want to keep falling forward, and they want to put the onus on the big fellas up front in order to bring this one home.
Open man is Miller. He's got it. And he's got the first down before being taken down at the 46. A gain of 4 that time as the drive continues. And just in general, Charles, on a play like that, how tough is it for the defense to account for a running back essentially being a receiver downfield?
It's very difficult, especially if the running back has skills like a receiver, and you're aware of that before the game even begins. So throughout your practice sessions, you're going to want to be aware of him. Where is he lining up? What can he do? What kind of damage can he do to us downfield? And who can match up with him without weakening our overall defense? You're exactly right. It's a tough task to match up to him.
Watch him now, Barney! Barney!
They keep it on the ground. This time it's Fournette. And the play goes nowhere. Losing yardage back near the 40 at the 39. A loss of a full 3 yards, and now it's 2nd down.
I think it's pretty evident. We can say what a difference a week makes. Last week, he ran pretty much wild, didn't he? Did pretty much what he wanted to do. But this one, they've stopped him cold. That, to me, that's good scouting and even better execution.
Yeah, and they stopped him behind the line right there. They obviously watched the tape a few times and made some adjustments. And he is met in his tracks behind the line of scrimmage. It's a loss of 2, now 3rd down.
Brandon, it's clearly a running situation when you're up in the 4th quarter. They're going to have to stack the box and make it difficult for them to move the ball.
Made it very difficult right there. Now they need to repeat that effort.
Yeah, bring 7, 8, 9, whatever it's going to take to slow them down.
3rd and 15 here after the 1st and 2nd down plays went in the wrong direction. He's going to flip one out here to his running back. So a good spin move there before he's taken down. A nice little gain. It's a gain of 9 yards, and that's going to make it 4th down.
So many times you hear today's NFL described as a space game. Get your best players into space with the football in their hands. That's why sometimes you just swing it out to your runner, get him out in the flat, and let him have a chance to make people miss an open field.
So it's 3 more points, and that widens this thing out even further here in the 4th.
And you know in this league, you can never have enough points, but this widens it out, as you said, and now it's all about ball control, isn't it?
And now out comes Minnesota. These guys had to punt their last possession, and that's become too familiar of a refrain. Too many of these drives just wound up going nowhere.
Well, you know how in baseball, when the pitcher gets a base hit and he's on base, they bring his jacket out to him to keep him warm? A lot of times the punter goes to the sideline, puts on sweatpants or a wrap over his leg to keep it warm. He might need a massage from the trainer right now from all the work he's getting.
They're throwing to start the drive, but that one incomplete.
I hope I don't sound too rah-rah on that one, but that's the exact right throw. Either your receiver gets it or no one gets it. Give him a lot of credit for being really precise with it.
Got rid of it. No one got it. And that'll be incomplete. We do have a penalty flag down, however. Let's see what that's about. Trying to defend the out route there, got the PI call.
And you know what's difficult about that one is sometimes you want to make the undercut move and go for the football, and other times just want to hang on the upfield shoulder and make the tackle. I think you got caught in between.
And his pass is intercepted for the 4th time today. Picked up by Josh Jones. And the return comes to a halt right at the 44-yard line. Just a little bit of a rough stretch. 6 interceptions now in these last 2 weeks combined.
I know the easy thing is to go back to mechanics, footwork, things of that nature. I'm also wondering, is he getting fooled by what he's seeing on defense? Has the scouting report changed? Are they showing him things different than what he expected? For the second week in a row, he's throwing it to the guys in the wrong color shirts.
Yeah, he better figure, whatever the reason is, he better figure it out. They'll wind up losing 4 yards on the play. And that's going to make it 2nd and 14.
You know what the key to a good screen pass is, don't you?
Bet you're going to tell me. Good blocking?
Well, good blocking eventually. But first is good acting. You want to let the defenders go past you, leak out to whichever side or even in the middle where you want to set up the screen, and then you do your blocking. How about the read, though, by the defensive guys? They weren't fooled at all and actually ran with the lineman to where the play was and smothered it for a loss of yardage.
And looking to put this game on ice in the 4th quarter, but still not afraid to throw it as they show there.
You want to play the game with confidence, and they have a guy who's in control right now. Their trigger guy, throwing it, they feel just as confident with him doing that as they would if they tried to run the ball and run the clock out. Okay, I'm not quite sure how to judge that one. Maybe didn't have enough legs underneath him. Mechanics might have been off. Maybe some fatigue. That one came up short.
Yeah, 4th quarter. Maybe you do start to watch. Is the arm there, the leg's still there. This has been a tough game. He'll look to throw. Throwing for his running back, and he's got him complete. And he'll be brought down at the 21, just shy of the 20 in the red zone. They'll wind up getting 10 back as that sets him up for 3rd down. He's having a big game through the air, and sometimes those smart decisions just dump it off. That's how you continue to have big games through the air.
I agree totally. That's a great analogy, great way to put it, because he doesn't get too greedy where everything has to be pushed downfield, trying to create big plays that aren't there. You dump it off and take that nice gain, and things add up, and now you have the kind of game he's having.
Time for a break. This one, all over but the shouting. We'll finish it after this. So it's Packer football here. As we welcome you back. And let's see what they've come up with offensively after having time to talk it over. Defense still with 3 timeouts. We'll see if they want to use them here as the kneel down comes. And they will take a knee here. Seventh play of this drive coming up, but a long way to go on 3rd down. Clock counting down toward 40 seconds as they take the knee. So they'll turn to the kicker again. He's been a busy man thus far. On the left hash mark, this a 38-yard attempt. And Myers able to knock it through. And they're sitting pretty now as the lead grows even further. So the scoring drive encompasses 9 plays, and the net result, 3 points.
Take your disappointment and put it aside. 9 plays. Yeah, they want to end up in the end zone with a touchdown. I get that. But sometimes those 9-play drives pay dividends later with another 9-play drive that culminates in a touchdown when they wear down a defense.
And now out comes Minnesota. They've lost this one. Their offense has struggled. Do they try to put together something here at the end just to take into next week?
Yeah, sometimes teams want to do that and coaches want to. I remember one time I was on a team and we were losing late in the game like this, and you knew it was lost. It was over, right? And the coach called a running play and pretty much said to everyone, I want to see something executed well before we get out of here. And that was the message to the team.
Just something to build on.
Just something to build on, get it done, and maybe we can look at that and say, we'll get better as we go forward.
To throw is Rosen. And he's got some space here. And he'll take this into the end zone. Now, hold on here. We do have a flag down. So let's see what this is about.
Illegal block in the back. Offense.
So this will be accepted as it moves the offense backwards. Charles, it's one thing to win. It's another thing to win and put up the amount of points that they did. Boy, were they clicking on offense.
They can't help but feel great about themselves, can they? I mean, what a game to put up that number of points, continually feeling like they're moving the ball and things are working and clicking. They think that they can bottle this and carry it with them.
And as an offensive coordinator, you just don't think you can do anything wrong, whatever you call.